Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. You know, recently I ended a 5-year relationship, but I'm okay. It wasn't my relationship. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Nexus Ops from Renegade Game Studios. In Nexus Ops, 2 to 4 players take on the roles of different factions as they attempt to vie for dominance of an alien moon in a far distant planetary system. The game board is going to consist of a number of hexes. You kind of have the tower, the monolith in the center of the board. Now, each player is also going to have kind of their home tiles adjacent to these other hexes. You are also going to get a kind of player board which shows the various units that you can purchase and use in the game, as well as kind of a battle order and kind of the order of play. You're also going to have access to a number of your units in a pool to start the game. Now, on the various hexes around the board, you're going to place tiles face down. These are exploration tokens that will be explored as the game progresses. Now, at the beginning of the game, players are going to get rubium, which is the currency of the game, depending on player order. And then the very first thing you do is you have the deploy phase. Essentially, a player can spend rubium in order to buy the units that his faction possesses and place them on kind of his home areas. Now, if a player has any energized cards at this time, he can go ahead and play them. Next, you're going to have movement. Now, all things being equal, each player, each unit on the board is going to be able to move to an adjacent space. However, some units have some special movement abilities, and they can move in all sorts of funky ways. Next, you have the Explore phase. If you have any units in a space with an Explore token, you can flip that Explore token up. Now, you may gain access to rubium, essentially a number. This is rubium you can mine later. Or you may gain instantly a unit that you can go ahead and place on the board. Now, if you have ended your turn in the same space as an enemy, you can then go ahead and attempt to battle for dominance of that space and to gain control of it. Now, as I say, you have kind of a battle order on your player board. And what that means is your higher, more expensive units, they're going to go ahead and they're going to be able to fire first. They're going to be able to roll a die and hopefully hit their battle number in order to destroy one of the other units on the board. So it's not simultaneous combat unless the two units battling are the same kind of unit and they're at the same level. They'll roll at the same time. Now, after you roll, it's entirely possible that you still may have units of different factions remaining in that spot, in which case no one controls it. However, if only one faction has units remaining in that space, then they will control that spot. After battle, you have the mining phase. Some of your units, your kind of lower cost units, they will have the ability to mine any spaces for rubium. Now, you have access to rubium on your home boards, but as you're going out and you find those Explorer tokens, there may be more spaces where you can gain access to rubium. You can collect that number of rubium and put them in your pool. Finally, you have the draw phase. You can go ahead and draw one secret mission card, and then if you have units on the monolith and you control it, you can draw 2 energized cards. Now, going back to battle for a moment, if you are the one who initiates the battle, you will have the opportunity to score cards. Now, all things being equal, you can just draw kind of one of the score cards from the basic pile. You can go ahead and score that. That's worth 1 point. However, if you have these secret mission cards and you fulfill the criteria in that battle, you can play that secret mission card to score that battle and score that card based on what happened in that battle. But you can only play the mission cards if you initiate the battle. So you can't essentially gain points for defending yourself only if you are attacking the enemy. Now, the game ends in one of two ways. If a player is able to score 12 victory points, he immediately wins. If another player is completely eliminated from the game, meaning he has no units on the board and he has no rubium to buy new units, then he is eliminated from the game, and of the remaining players, whoever has the most points scored wins. Nexus Ops. We'll get back to the review in just a moment. I want to take a minute to ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about history, books on history, military history. I even post some of my lectures for my classes on there. Please check that out. Please subscribe to that channel. And now, back to the review. All right, there's more to this game than I just did in that rules overview. There's quite a bit more, and there's a lot of options here. You can actually play with kind of a standard unit board. You can flip those over. You can all flip those over, and you have access to kind of a different board. It's kind of some alternate rules that you can plug into the game. There's alternate setups. You can play a team game. So there's a lot of different ways you can actually play the game. I've just played the basic game, so I'll tell you what my thoughts are here. Now, first of all, let me just say this is a game that about 15 years or so ago, I actually bought, I think it was Fantasy Flight published this game. I think it was Avalon Hill, but I think Fantasy Flight had it for a while, and I purchased the Fantasy Flight version of the game. I never got it to the table. And it was always something I regretted because I'd heard a lot of people tell me what a great game it was, and it was one I just never got out there, and I think when I moved, I ended up giving it to somebody. So I was kind of, this is one I've always wanted to play, and I never got around to it. Now, Renegade Game Studios recently got the license for the game, and they published it. And it was Ray actually said to me, Cody, you'd really like that. And so I thought, okay. So I went ahead. I reached out to the good people at Renegade Game Studios and asked if they could send me a review copy, and they did. And so we finally get together. We finally get a chance to play this game. And right off the bat, I'm excited because I like dudes on a map games. I like games with minis and kind of a 4X thing with exploration. That's not really a 4X game, but maybe a mini 4X element here. And I like that aspect, and I liked, I like the minis they had. It's just a fun game to look at, a beautiful little game to look at, and I like games with kind of secret agendas and the secret scoring and stuff like that. So I thought there's a lot of things here going into this that I'm thinking I'm going to really enjoy. And so we start playing it, and right off the bat, I mean, almost immediately, within a round, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm digging this. I'm digging this. This is cool stuff. And so we proceed to play it, and it's fun to see how many swings there are in the game and shifts there are in the game as somebody can kind of make certain kind of units that they want to build that give them certain advantages in parts of the board, and see just the way, of course, a dice combat system with it, with all the randomness that can happen. Now it's interesting too because I had access to a lot of rubium deposits, and so I was bringing in a lot of rubium. So I started building a lot of the dragons. And the dragons are cool because they can if you end your turn next to an enemy, you can just kind of spit on them, right? It's almost like artillery fire or something, which I thought was kind of cool. But they're really powerful because on a six-sided die, they hit on a 2 or better, which means they only fail if you hit on a 1, right? They're the most powerful unit in the game. And I'm not kidding. In 5 different combats with the dragon, I rolled a 1. And it was crazy. And it pissed me off, but at the same time, it was fun, and it was there were great moments, and there were tense moments, and I mean the other guys, they were laughing their butts off because I kept screwing up with that, right? Um, but stuff like that's just fun. It almost feels like in a way a mini Axis and Allies type game where you've got your economy based on what you hold, you fight battles, dudes on a map. So I mean, there's almost an Axis and Allies quality here, but this is a much shorter, more compact game. In fact, where you'd say Axis and Allies is kind of more larger strategic game, this is to me the definition of a knife fight in a phone booth kind of game, right? You're really tight. You have to fight. You have to engage in combat in order to score. So you're not rewarded for turtling or playing a conservative game here. So I really like that. I really enjoyed that aspect of the game quite a bit. And even so, it's kind of fun. You don't make like actual alliances, but you kind of make understandings with, okay, we don't hurt each other here, so we can both advance on other areas. There's a lot of that going on too in the game, which is really fun. And then, of course, the eventual backstabbing. Gosh, I had fun with this. I really like this. This is if I had played this when I'd had it before, I don't think I would have given it up. It's just a very fun game for what it is. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give this an 8 on the Cody scale. It's super fun. I think this is a game that, anytime somebody wanted to play it, I would absolutely jump on it. I'd kind of be here to play with some of the other rules and the advanced rules, but I really enjoy it. 8 out of 10. Well, thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, I ask you to please check us out on social media, on Facebook, on Twitter. I would ask you to please like and subscribe to this video and our channel. That would mean a lot to us here. And also, too, if you could please give us a thumb on Board Game Geek for this video, that would also help us out a lot as well. If you like this channel, please check out my other channel. That is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about history, military history, books on history. I even post some of my lectures on that channel. Please check that out. Please subscribe. It would mean the world to me. And if you really do enjoy the content we bring you here on The Discriminating Gamer, I would humbly ask you to click on the Super Thanks button and leave a tip. I have a long-lost brother that I haven't seen since we were in Australia. We were separated at Perth.
Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band. God knows that I love to fight.
Back in here.
You'll be killed.
So I get, where are the die?
Here's that.
Okay. So, all right. So my dragons first. Oh my god!
Yes.
All right.
Woo!
This guy's
Winning.
bigger, better.